Look at me closely. Do not look away, even if it makes you uncomfortable, because this discomfort is the only thing that can save you from the mediocrity into which you are slowly but surely sliding without even noticing it. You look at a 99-year-old man and think you see success. You see billions in the accounts. You see respect and power. But you, in your youthful naivety, are making a fundamental error in asset valuation. You are confusing the finish line with the victory. You think I won this game? No. I simply survived in it long enough to realize how incompetently most of you play your cards at the very start of the match. You are 20 years old, or thereabouts, and you are drunk on the most dangerous illusion in the universe, the illusion of infinite time. You wake up in the morning and think life is an endless buffet where you can try everything, make mistakes, waste days on meaningless conversations, video games, and the pursuit of cheap dopamine because life is all ahead of you. This is the lie your brain whispers to protect you from the horror of reality. But I am here to rip that warm blanket off you and douse you with the icy water of truth. Your life is not ahead of you. It is happening right now, and it is burning away with every second you stare into the screen. You think you have an asset called time. You are wrong. You don't have time, you have timing, and you are missing it. You are like a man who inherited a suitcase full of uranium and uses it to prop open the bathroom door, not realizing that in his hands is energy capable of lighting up a city or destroying it. Your youth is not a time for partying. It is not a time for finding yourself in bars or on the beaches of Goa. It is fuel, nuclear fuel for the reactor of compound interest. And right now, you are burning that fuel just to warm the street. Do you think I envy your ability to drink all night and have no hangover? Do you think I envy your smooth skin or thick hair? What monstrous stupidity. I envy your mathematical position. In the equation of wealth and success, the variable n, the number of years, is the most powerful multiplier. And for you, that number is large, while for me, it is approaching zero. I would give all my billions, all my Berkshire Hathaway shares, all my houses and titles just to return to your body for exactly one day. But here is the twist that will make you doubt my sanity. I wouldn't return to relive my first love or feel the wind in my hair. I would return to fix those microscopic mistakes that seem invisible at 20, but by 90, turn into insurmountable mountains that block out the sun. You think a mistake is when you crash a car or get kicked out of university. No, that's drama for cheap soap operas. Real mistakes are silent, unnoticeable, and deadly like carbon monoxide. A mistake is when you chose an easy job at 20 to have more free time and thereby killed your capacity for exertion. A mistake is when you skipped a $100 investment that would have turned into $1 million 50 years later. You think I'm talking about money? I'm talking about the neuroplasticity of your brain, which now at 20 is like soft clay ready to take any shape, but you are molding an ashtray out of it instead of a statue of David. With every year, the clay hardens. By 30, you will become concrete monument to your habits. And if those habits are laziness, procrastination, and a thirst for handouts, you will need a jackhammer to change anything, and it will be painful, unbearably painful. You look at me and think, yeah, the old man is exaggerating. He just forgot what it's like to be young. I haven't forgotten. I remember it all too well. I remember that feeling of omnipotence, which was actually just a lack of experience and an ignorance of risks. That isn't strength, it's blindness. You are walking a tightrope over an abyss, but you are blindfolded, dancing because you think you are walking down a wide avenue. You believe you can always catch up. Look at the statistics. Look at the millions of people who wake up at 40 realizing they are trapped. They have a mortgage they hate, a job that sucks their soul, and health that has already started to fail. They thought they had plenty of time too. They thought they'd start a new life on Monday too. But the Mondays ran out. Only Tuesdays are left, gray and identical. You are them, just at the beginning of the path, and you have a map in your hands, but you are using it to wrap fish. I look at you and I don't see people. I see walking, breathing opportunities annihilating themselves. It is a crime against nature. Nature gave you energy to build a civilization, and you spend it trying to impress strangers on social media. You think youth is a privilege? No, it's an ordeal. It's an IQ test that 99% of participants fail. You think the world belongs to you? The world belongs to the patient, and you are slaves to immediate gratification. You want everything at once, and that is exactly why you will get nothing. Ever. Your impatience is your executioner. You are ready to eat one seed today instead of planting it and harvesting a crop in 6 months. I, a cynical old man, look at you with pity because I know what awaits most of you. You will work until the grave, servicing debts you took on to look cool. You will become batteries for the system, fuel for others' ambitions. And the scariest part of this scenario is that you will do it voluntarily with a smile on your face under the slogan, Live for Today. Living for today is the strategy of an amoeba. Homo sapiens lives decades ahead. And if you don't flip the switch in your head right now, this very second, from your consumer mode to architect mode, you are doomed. I'm not scaring you. I am stating a fact like a pathologist stating the cause of death. Only your corpse is still warm and it has a pulse. We have a chance to perform resuscitation. But for that, you will have to kill that careless idiot you are today. Are you ready to commit this murder so you can be born again? If I woke up this morning in your 20-year-old body, the first thing I would do is commit an act of vandalism that most of you would consider sacrilegious. I would take my diploma, that holy grail for which you spent sleepless nights drinking cheap energy drinks, and I would use it to light the fireplace, because in the real world, that paper is worth exactly as much as the heat it can provide when burned. You look at me with horror. Your brain, programmed by the education system for obedience, screams, but what about a career? What about stability? And in that scream, I hear the echo of your future slavery. You think university gave you an education. What delightful, naive nonsense. University gave you a sales receipt confirming you bought a set of outdated facts and learned to follow commands at the sound of a bell like a trained Pavlovian dog. You walk out of the halls of your alma mater thinking the finish line has been crossed. You throw your mortarboards in the air and say, I've finished my studies. At that very moment, to the sound of trumpets, you commit mental suicide. You hit the stop button on the conveyor belt of your development exactly when you should be engaging the afterburners. Do you think I became a billionaire because I have a law degree from Harvard? I became a billionaire in spite of it. I became rich because I turned myself into a knowledge-devouring machine, a biological vacuum that sucks up the wisdom of the world and filters out the stupidity. If you stop learning on graduation day, you are a dead man walking. Your brain begins to ossify, neural connections decay, and by 30, you turn into an intellectual zombie capable only of consuming content created by others, but incapable of generating a single original thought. You scroll through news feeds, you watch short videos of idiots dancing to music, and you think you're up to date. You aren't. You are in the sewer. You are voluntarily pouring sludge into your mental tank, and then you wonder why your engine stalls on the uphill. At 20, I would declare total war on information noise. I would become a monk in the temple of fundamental knowledge. But here's the twist that will make you feel cheated. You are learning the wrong things. You waste time studying trends, hype, and how to get rich on crypto in 5 minutes. You are building a house on sand that will be washed away by the first tide. If I were you, I would study only what doesn't change. I would study physics because the laws of thermodynamics govern the economy just as strictly as they govern a steam boiler. I would study history because, as Mark Twain said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, and all your new crises are just old rakes that humanity steps on with enviable regularity. And most importantly, I would study the psychology of human stupidity. Why do smart people do idiotic things? Why is the guys? the crowd always wrong. Yet if you understand the mechanics of human madness, you can stand on the shore and catch fish in muddy water while the rest are drowning. You think it's boring? You think reading a biography of Franklin or the works of Cicero is for old men? That is the most expensive perceptual error you can make. Boredom is a filter. What is boring to study usually brings the highest return because there is no competition there. Everyone is chasing cheap dopamine. But you, sitting in silence with a book, receive the keys to the back door of reality. Do you know what compound interest is? You think it's about money? Oh, how narrow-mindedly you think. Compound interest works in knowledge, too. If you go to bed every day a little bit smarter than when you woke up, if you learn one new mental model, one new law of nature, then in 10 years, you will be standing on the mountain peak looking down at your peers who stayed in the valley of ignorance. The gap between you won't be linear, it will be exponential. You will seem like a mage to them, a seer, a genius. They will ask, how did you know this would happen? But you simply saw a pattern they missed because they were watching a TV show. But here lies the real drama, the Santa Barbara effect I warned you about. You think the goal of learning is to become smart so you can get a good job. You're preparing to sell your brains for a higher price. No. The goal of learning is not to become a mercenary. The goal of learning is to understand who the sucker is at the table. If you've been sitting at the poker table of life for half an hour and you don't know who the sucker is, you are the sucker. Education is a self-defense system. It is a bulletproof vest against the charlatans, marketers, politicians, and bankers who want to use you. When you know how cognitive biases work, you see how you are being manipulated. When you know math, you see when you are being offered a bad deal. I wouldn't study to impress a professor. I'd study so that no one could ever fool me. Do you think the world is a friendly place? The world is a jungle where everyone wants to bite off a piece of you, your time, your money, your attention. Your ignorance is blood in the water that draws the sharks. And right now, while you are too lazy to read difficult books, the sharks are already sharpening their teeth. Do you feel that chill down your spine? That is the fear of wasted time. And that's good. Let that fear drive you to the library. Let it make you throw out the TV. At 20, your brain is plastic. It absorbs information like a sponge. At 90, learning is painful, believe me. You have a window of opportunity and it closes every day. You can fill your attic with pop culture trash, and when the time comes, you'll find nothing useful there but song lyrics and memes, or you can furnish it with thinking tools that will allow you to solve problems insoluble for others. The choice is yours. But remember, you cannot download wisdom. You cannot delegate understanding. You must chew this granite yourself, break your teeth on it, but swallow the essence. And when you do, when you start to see the matrix, you will realize that money is just a side effect of your competence. But for money to come, you must prepare the ground for it. And that the foundation of capital you must lay right now while you are still poor and hungry is what we will talk about next. Are you ready to learn how to turn your knowledge into the concrete on which a skyscraper can be built? Now close your books, wipe the dust off your glasses, and prepare for the most painful, most humiliating, and most necessary procedure of your life, without which all your knowledge will remain mere intellectual masturbation. We are moving from theory to practice by Shoei Fachensori Nerdu dollars. And I must warn you, what I am about to say will make your inner consumer scream in terror like a vampire in sunlight. If I were 20 again, I wouldn't just study. I would declare a total merciless war on my poverty. I would set one single fanatical goal to save my first $100,000. Do you hear that number? It isn't random. It isn't a pretty round sum for a headline. It is a magical threshold, an event horizon, a gravitational barrier that separates slaves from free people. Charlie Munger, the old man you see before you, once said a phrase that became legendary, and I will repeat it to you, looking you straight in the eye. The first $100,000 is a bitch. Do you think I'm being vulgar? I'm being truthful. Saving the first 100K is hellish work. Well, it is the hardest thing you will ever do in your financial life. To do it, you will have to turn into a monk, an ascetic, a miserly knight. You will have to walk while your friends take out loans for BMWs. You will have to eat rice and beans while they post photos from restaurants. You will have to wear the same jacket for 5 years while they change their wardrobe every season. You will look like a loser in their eyes. They will laugh at you. They will say, why do you need this money if you aren't living? And here lies the twist that will flip your mind. You aren't living now so that you can start living later, while they are dying now, thinking they are living. You aren't denying yourself pleasures. You are buying your freedom. Every dollar you didn't spend on a latte or a new phone is a soldier you've hired for your personal army. Until you have 100K, you are fighting alone. You against the world, you against inflation, you against the boss. But why exactly 100,000? Why not 1,000,000? Because the math of compound interest is a cruel mistress who pays no attention to the poor. As long as you have no capital, the interest is laughable. 10% of $1,000 is $100. It's nothing. It won't even pay for your dinner, but 10% of 100K is 10K. That is already money you can survive on. That is the tipping point where the money starts working harder than you do. Before this line, you are dragging a boulder up a mountain, tearing your nails, sweating blood. The boulder is heavy, the slope is steep, gravity is merciless. But as soon as you cross the 100K mark, the slope levels out. The boulder starts rolling on its own. You only need to give it a slight push. Do you think the rich work 24 hours a day? Nonsense. We work 24 hours a day until we created a critical mass of capital. Now the capital works and we read the newspapers. Do you want to join this club? The entry fee is 100K and several years of total self-restraint. Do you still think this is cruel? You think, but I'm young, I want to travel, I want experiences. That is the voice of your poverty. That is the voice of marketing, which has convinced you that experiences must be bought. Do you think you are spending money on yourself? No. You are spending money to make the airline owner richer, the hotel owner richer, the bar owner richer. You are a cash cow that is happy to be milked in a beautiful stall. At 20, I would live in the cheapest apartment. I would work 2 jobs. I would save 50, 60, 70% of my income. I would invest every cent in an index fund, even if the market was falling into the abyss. I would become a fanatic of accumulation. Because I know the secret. Poverty is a disease treated only by money, not by positive thinking. And the medicine is bitter. But here's what will happen when you see those coveted 6 figures in your account. A switch will flip in your brain. You will suddenly realize that you no longer depend on the whim of a boss. You can say no, you can quit, you can wait out a crisis. You have fuck you money. Money that allows you to tell anyone who tries to manipulate you to go to hell. That feeling of power is more intoxicating than any alcohol. You stop being a slave to a paycheck. You become a partner of the system. And the funniest thing is that as soon as you stop needing money, it starts sticking to you on its own. Opportunities come to those who have the resources to exploit them. The poor pay interest, the rich receive interest. The first 100K moves you from one side of the barricades to the other. Are you afraid that life will pass you by while you save? Do you think at 30 it will be too late to have fun? What nonsense. At 30, with capital behind you, the fun is just beginning, and it is of a different quality. It is the fun of a free man, not the fun of a slave on leave. You look at me and think, easy for you to say, oh man, you have billions. But I remember my first savings. I remember walking in worn out shoes, knowing that in the bank I had a sum with which I could buy the shoe store. That gave me a confidence that no dandy in new shoes ever had. Inner strength is more important than external tinsel. So here is the truth without anesthesia. If you cannot save 100,000, you are a financial impotent. You are incapable of managing energy. You are a leaky bucket. And until you patch those holes with your will and discipline, no money-making schemes, no crypto signals will help you. You will blow $1 million just as fast as you blow a paycheck. Start small, kill the consumer within you, give birth to the capitalist within you. It will be painful. It will take a long time. It will be boring. But one day you will wake up, look at your account, and realize you've bought yourself a life. And your friends who laughed at you will still be paying off loans for experiences from 10 years ago. Who will have the last laugh? But money and knowledge are only half the equation. There is another factor that can multiply your efforts by 0 or raise them to the power of infinity. It is the people who surround you. You can be a genius with capital, but if you are surrounded by idiots, you will drown. Are you ready to learn how to conduct the most brutal purge of your life and why loneliness is the best gift for a 20-year-old? Now pull out your phone, open your contact list, and prepare to commit the most cold-blooded murder of your life. Because if you don't, they will kill you slowly and painfully, sucking out your potential until all that's left of you is an empty shell filled with other spheres and chichas. If I returned to my 20s with the brains I have now, I wouldn't just stop talking to idiots. I would introduce a regime of strict quarantine. I would build a sanitary cordon around myself that not a single thought of poverty is normal or life is unfair could penetrate. You look at your childhood friends with whom you kicked a ball in the yard, and your heart clenches with sentimentality. But my calculator knows no mercy. It sees only numbers, and those numbers scream that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your friends are bankrupts, you will be the 6th. If your friends are whiners, you will be the 6th. This isn't a curse. It's physics, the law of communicating vessels. If you connect a vessel of clean water with a vessel of sewage, you don't clean the sewage. You just contaminate the water. Do you think you are a strong personality that you can pull them up? What delightful suicidal pride. Gravity always wins. Pulling down is always easier than pulling up. One person drowning in a swamp of mediocrity will drag down 10 rescuers simply because panic and stupidity are as infectious as the plague. You sit with them in a bar, and what do you talk about? Other people. Who slept with whom? How terrible the boss is. At that moment, your neurons are mirroring their neurons. Your brain is retuning to the frequency of losers, and you are absorbing their mental viruses. You think you're resting, but in reality, you are undergoing a lobotomy. You leave that bar stupider than you entered it. That is the price you pay for socialization. Are you ready to pay with your future just to sit for a few hours with people who will forget your name a month after you run out of money? But here is the twist that will make you feel betrayed by all of modern success culture. They tell you that at 20, you need to network, you need to make connections, you need to know everyone. This is a lie invented by extroverts to justify their inability to work alone. Networking for a 20-year-old pauper is 0 multiplied by 0. If you are nothing, if you have no skills, no capital, no unique vision, then who can you meet at a networking event? Other zeros looking for someone to latch onto. 2 empty pockets don't make 1 full wallet. Connections aren't made at parties with business cards. Connections are made when you become a master of your craft, when you become so good that you cannot be ignored. People will find you. Until then, any interaction is a waste of resources. I would choose total ringing loneliness. Are you afraid of loneliness? Do you think if you stop answering calls, you will become an outcast? You are confusing concepts again. Loneliness at 20 is not a punishment. It's a gift. It is a forge. It is the time when you sharpen your sword. While your peers huddle in packs to drown out their fear of the future with noise and alcohol, you sit in silence and build yourself. You read difficult books. You learn languages. You master finance. You become dangerous. You become a predator in a world of herbivores. Yes, it hurts. Yes, sometimes you want to howl at the moon. But this pain is the pain of growth. You are shedding your old skin. You think you're losing friends. No, you are getting rid of ballast. Imagine you are flying in a hot air balloon that is falling toward the rocks. Will you pity the sandbags you need to drop to gain altitude? Your friends who drag you to a club on Friday night are sandbags. Drop them or you will crash with them. And here is the most brutal lesson you must learn, one that might bring tears to your eyes. Do Do you think your friends wish you well, that they will be happy for your success? This is the sweetest illusion that will crash against the rocks of reality with a loud snap. As soon as you start climbing out of the hole, as soon as you start reading, saving, and changing your life, the very people who patted you on the back will start to hate you. Not openly, no. They will joke, "Oh, look, our millionaire has arrived." You become boring. You got a big head. Do you know why they do this? Not because you become a bad person, but because your growth is a mirror in which they see their own insignificance. Your success, insults, inaction. You become a living reproach to their laziness. And they will do everything, absolutely everything, consciously or unconsciously, to drag you back into the crab bucket. They will offer you a drink. They will sabotage your discipline. They will mock your dreams. And at that moment, you must be merciless. You must cut them off like a gangrenous limb, without anesthesia, without farewell speeches, just disappear from their lives. Does that sound inhuman? Perhaps. But do you know what is truly inhuman? To wake up at 50, poor, sick, and full of regrets, just because at 20 you were afraid of offending the guy you sat next to in school. Choose temporary loneliness and eternal freedom, or temporary popularity in a company of losers and eternal slavery. There is no third option. If you want to soar like an eagle, don't graze with the turkeys. And now when you stand in the center of an empty room, having cut away the excess, with a book in one hand and a bank account in the other, the question arises, what is it all for? What is the end goal of this race? You think the goal is money. No, money is just a tool. The goal is beyond the understanding of most. And if you don't understand it now, you risk becoming the richest corpse in the cemetery. Are you ready to find out what is really at stake in this game with time? We have reached the final line, that very event horizon beyond which words lose their meaning and either action begins or the slow rot in the swamp of missed opportunities. Now I am going to offer you a deal that will take your breath away if you engage your imagination for even a second. You look at me, at my expensive suits, at my empire, and you think, I wish I had his life. You envy me. But here is the twist that should turn your soul inside out. I envy you. I envy you with the black, fierce envy of a man standing at the exit, seeing someone who has just entered. Right now, this second, I would sign a contract without a moment's hesitation, without blinking an eye, in which all my billions, all my assets, all my power and reputation pass to you. And in return, I receive your 20-year-old body, your empty bank account, and your obscurity. Do you think I've lost my mind? Do you think this is senile dementia? No, this is high mathematics, accessible only to those who have seen the finish line. In this equation, you are the rich man, and I am the pauper. You have an asset that cannot be bought for all the money in the world, an asset not listed on any exchange because it is priceless. You have time. Now here is the tragedy worthy of Shakespeare's pen. I, who have almost no time left, value every second like a diamond, while you, the owners of an infinite ocean of time, pour it down the drain like cheap water. You kill time. You burn time. You look for ways to kill time. You even realize what you're saying? You're killing the only thing that makes you alive. You're committing a crime against yourselves, and the punishment for this crime will be your old age. You think old age is when your knees hurt? No. Old age is when you wake up in the middle of the night from the scream of your own soul. I could have, but I didn't. It is a regret that eats you from the inside like acid, and there is no cure for this pain because the time machine has not yet been invented. Do you think you have the choice to just live? Well, you have no such choice. Life is an escalator going down. If you stand still, you go down. If you walk slowly, you go down. To go up, you must run. You must run as if a pack of wolves is chasing you, because it is. These wolves are inflation, illness, crises, and your own laziness. Do you think they are far away? Look around. They are breathing down your neck. At 20, you feel immortal, and this biological illusion is nature's most dangerous trap. Makes you put off life until later. I'll start investing at 30. I'll start learning at 25. I'll quit drinking on Monday. But Monday never comes. Only today ever arrives. And today, you chose the easy path again. You chose pleasure over discipline again. You betrayed your future for a momentary high again. I look at you and I see a potential that takes my breath away. You can become anything. You can build cities. You can cure cancer. You can create capital that will provide for 10 generations of your family. You have energy that I no longer have. You have neurons that fire faster than mine. You have the right to make a mistake, a right I am denied. But you use this potential to scroll through a newsfeed and argue in the comments with strangers. That is like using a starship to go buy bread at the corner store. It is sacrilege. It is waste on a universal scale. You are millionaires of time living like paupers of spirit. And if you don't wake up right now, if this cry of mine doesn't pierce your armor of indifference, then one day you will become me, but not a billionaire. You will become an old man looking in the mirror and seeing emptiness. You will see a man who traded greatness for comfort. And that old man in the mirror will ask you, where is all that time we had? And you will have nothing to say. Do you think I am cruel? The world is cruel. The market is cruel. Time is cruel. I am the only one telling you the truth because I need nothing from you. I have already won my game, but I have lost the race against time. You can still win both, but for that you need to stop being a child waiting for gifts from fate. Fate doesn't give gifts; it deals blows, and the one who survives is the one who can take a hit and hit back. Your youth is not a holiday; it is a war for your place under the sun, a war for your freedom, a war against entropy and chaos. And in this war, you have only 3 weapons. Your brain, which must be sharpened every day, your money, which must be saved and multiplied, and your circle, which must pull you up, not drown you in a swamp. Everything else is an illusion. Everything else is noise. Now that I have taken off your rose-colored glasses and smashed them against the concrete wall of reality, you have 2 paths. You can say, the old man has gone crazy. Close this video, open a beer, and continue watching other people live the life of your dreams. That is the path of the majority. That is the path to nowhere. Or you can feel this anger, this sacred rage at yourself for the aimlessly lived years and use that energy as fuel for a start. You can make the first step today, right now. Open a book instead of a social network. Save $1 instead of spending it. Delete the phone number of that idiot who is dragging you to the bottom. These are small steps, but they are the ones that change the trajectory of fate. I cannot live your life for you. I cannot give you my will. I can only show you the door. Behind that door is pain, labor, sweat, and blood, but at the end, greatness. Behind the other door is comfort, fun, and sweet lies, but at the end, oblivion and poverty. Which door will you choose? Don't answer me. Answer yourself, but do it publicly to cut off any path of retreat. Burn your bridges. Write just one word in the comments that will become your manifesto. Write time if you have realized the value of your primary asset and are ready to invest it in your future, starting this second. Or write game if you choose to remain a child playing in the sandbox while the adults build the world. I will be reading, and I will know among yum a future master of life and who is just a statistic. The clock is ticking. Tick tock, your move.